Okay, so today's session, as I mentioned earlier, we will use this data set which has different types of data uh, types in it, and which we will see how we can load this into our XE database, and also how we can load this into our Apex environment. Okay, so two things, because these two are different places where we'll be practicing today. So uh, be careful and be ask me questions whenever you have any issue at any point of time. Okay, so having did that, this is now let me open my. So firstly before we load, we have to do the connection part. All right, someone should mute themselves. Okay, so uh please mute yourself. Let me mute all if it's possible. Okay, thank you. So once you open your SQL developer.exe, okay, you need to remember the password which you gave while installing it. That's more important. And for people who are unable to just follow this, because this will be the same process that you have to follow later once you have installed XE, okay? And for people who are in Mac or who are planning to use apex.oracle.com, for now, just follow this. It's not that you'll have Mac forever. You will have to come to Windows at some point. So you will still need this. Okay. Hmm, Let me, okay, first not this. So you open this SQL developer and you have this Oracle connections here. Right click on this new connection, and you will open up this window, and you will not have any connections here on the left side here. Okay, it will be like this blank. What you have to do is you have to just say, give a name to it, because sometimes people install multiple databases in their systems. So to have connect to multiple databases, you can do the same environment. Okay, so give some name to it, and then choose a database type. It's mostly Oracle, and your username should be SYS. Okay, this is the admin user, and the role should be DBA, because if you don't enter this, you can't do database operations on your DB. Now, system and system DBA, these two are important. Then the password which you entered while setting it up, okay, that you have to enter here. And then save the password, and then the host name, port, and SID. Okay, system identifier. All should be the same as you see on the screen. Localhost 1521 and XE. Okay, when you test the connection, it'll do a test and it'll say success here. Okay, then say connect. Once you connect, it'll create a database icon like this. Okay, even to open it, you need to enter a password which you entered during the setup. So important that you remember that password. Okay, once you enter the password, it will open up what are the components of the database that you have, and then you can scroll through it and see, get a feel of it, what's there in, and all those stuff, right? So now going to the current one. So these are the tables, as I mentioned yesterday, that are already there in your database. Okay, so you will not have this page, you will have this welcome page here. Okay, let's keep it there. Now coming to our Excel file. So before even you load, you need to first prepare your data. So this is the preparation phase. Okay, there are two ways to do it. One is an advanced method, and second one is a not, I would not say basic method, but I would say beginner method. Okay, or thorough method. That's what I can say. I'll tell you difference before I start doing anything. Okay, so when you're loading the data, there are people who are impatient, and they don't want to care about what are the data types in here. Okay, they just don't want to load everything as a alphanumeric data type. I'll tell you how that works. Okay, so in queries, you can manipulate a column's data on the fly. Like this column can be loaded as a varchar, which is alphanumeric column, and then you can convert this to a date using a simple function in a SQL query. Okay, like if I have to give an example, stay with me for some time. I will start the load later, a little in some time. So let's say we say select star, and then we can say select to date, my date column. Okay, so what I'm doing here is I'm just giving an example here. I'm converting my alphanumeric date column using a function into a date. Okay, so you that's what most of the developers sometimes, if they're not so patient or so not set up their data properly, they will do this itself. But the correct way of doing it is to ensure you have all the data points in a correct manner. That will ensure easier synchronization between tables also. Okay, otherwise if you're not doing this part correctly, then it's a very tough time ahead, because you have to think over from a future perspective when you're loading any data point. You have to just say, okay, how will this impact my other tables? Okay, if I have to join this with that, would it be fine? Will this column be having same data type in the other table also? So all of these things you have to think before doing. But if you're just loading a single dump of huge data set and not joining it with anything, or even if you're joining with something and you're loading that as well in just a alphanumeric format, fine, that's fine. But I'll teach you both ways quickly so that you understand how it is. Okay, so in this case, first to make sure the date call, first you have to ensure the headers are uh, special characters free. So some basic steps like select the whole row, replace the space with underscore. That's the basic thing. Once you have done that, just search if you have any dollar symbol anywhere, replace that as well with underscore. So this is an easier way to do it. And sometimes you will find after replacing everything with underscore, there will be double underscore somewhere due to whatever reason, right? So replace double underscores with single underscore. So at the end of the, what we have to think is, when you're writing query, you need to write these columns as your select statement. You have to say, write company underscore public underscore response, select company underscore public underscore response. You have to type that much. Okay, so keep that in mind while defining your columns. And also keep in mind that how your data source will be flown into you, like how you receive this. If that source gives you the same name every time, then you need to build a small process to clean up this whole data set. Okay, so these are some prerequisites that you need to ensure that you are having in place. Now we have cleaned up all the names of the columns. This is still a small data set, but sometimes it goes through lot more columns, like 250 100 columns and stuff like that, right? So first you ensure your headers are in correct way. Just give me 1 second. I'll pause this recording for a moment because there's something happening. Okay. Okay, so now headers are done. Now first address the date columns. Okay, I generally prefer this way. This is not a norm or a procedure that to be stuck to, but I generally do it this way. So first I will make sure that my date columns have a proper date column. I'll select the whole date column and make it mmddyy, mmddyy, because I know this I can use the same thing there later also. This column, I'll use the same format painter and do this. Yeah, so 2 date columns, and this I hope is a number column, because postal codes will have everything. Okay, there are blanks, so forget that. This should be a date column, I believe. Yeah, this is the date column. So we can just say this as number, and remove the residual points. Yeah, that's pretty much about it that we have to do here. And also ensure, if you have a I mean, if you want to use a column as a measure, I mean, when I'm saying we want to sum this column, or you want to do some average of any of these number columns, ensure there is no blanks like this, like let's say like this. Okay, it should not have any blanks in this columns where you're trying to do an aggregate, because that column will not be treated as a number column if there is blank in between. So ensure you have data in all the rows by just quickly verifying it. Okay, and for that matter, even the date column should not be blank. Any column which is alphanumeric, you can still go have blanks in it, but not the columns which you want to have in a certain type of data. Okay, uh, uh, like elite data types, the date and the number and the other stuff like that. Okay, so I have keep that in mind while you're doing it. Now that we have finished this, save this. Okay, or rather, let me save it. Save as. Okay, so it's P9 consumer complaints. Okay. Now, people who are having a SQL developer ready, you can, if you want, you can follow. I will slowly do it, and then we'll jump into the Apex portion also next. Okay. So right click on this tables, click on import data. Okay. Click browse, select that file which you just downloaded. Just see if it's down. It's P9, right? Here it is. Click open. Quickly, it will show you the content of it. Okay. And then click on next. If you have any local language information in the file, ensure if it's if you have data information in local language, there are issues with it. One is your Excel will not preserve the foreign characters when you are saving it as a plain Excel CSV file. Okay, it will remove them and replace them with question marks. If you want to preserve your foreign characters, you need to use the open office. There is something called, like Microsoft Office itself, you have open office. Okay, if you want, you can download and keep this whole office system. This will, in this also you have an Excel alternative which will preserve the foreign characters as is, even if you save in CSV file. Okay, so that's a I mean additional information just for your this one, for you to note. If you have doubts on that, come back to me. I will let you know on that. But that's the foreign character thing. Then click on next. Now you need to give a table name to this. Let's say keep your name simple because you need to type this every time you do something. Okay, and consumer complaints concom. Okay, then and also use underscores wherever you want to use space. That's by default in SQL. Okay, next. And then these are the columns. It's selecting all the columns. Then next. So you see, it doesn't give me any error now because it by default has we have aligned to its name and nomenclature, right? So that's the reason. Now just quickly verify date. So this is important part. Now it's already taken MMDD RRRR. Okay, so RR is nothing but your year. Okay, so but since you already did the basic steps of formatting your data there, here it is all easy for you. You just need to see if the size is based on the first 10 or 15 rows to make sure you're um, what to say, having error-free upload. Ensure you can put it up to 4,000 here. Okay, the character limit of a cell in a database is 4,000. So I generally put it at 4,000, and mind you, it will not increase or decrease your data set size. Okay, it just allows additional space to be added because on today's date, this data has only whatever number that it was giving. But in tomorrow's data point, you might want to add more into the same table, which will have more characters in it. At that point, that will not load because you can't change the definition of an existing column. Even if you want to change it, it will be too tough because it will say there is existing data in it, so there are chances of data compromise there. So while you're setting it itself, ensure that you have enough room for whatever it is, right? So this is number column. It's asking me what is the size, number of digits I want, and what is the decimal points. Don't have decimal points in this. So uh, so this is how you do it. But I know you will be asking, like, if I have 100 columns, how do I do the same 4,000 thing? Okay, we'll come to that. So for now, let's go with the basic ones. Okay, the ones which are shortcuts, I will teach you in some time. But first, we'll do the basic method. 4,000, 4,000, 4,000. So this is what I did for the first time also. Okay, 3,800. So I'm just keeping my length of each of these columns sufficiently spaced, I mean accommodative, so that when I load new data into it, it should pick it up easily. Okay, so that's the whole point. Now, once you're done with this, once you have analyzed all of this, you have to spend enough time in this phase because this is a one-time thing. If you become lazy in doing this part, then you will face issues doing the same thing multiple times later. That's the reason you have to take some time to make sure this is fine. Okay, so it imported. So how many rows it imported? Did it give me task cancel, statement failed, create table, one of the out of range. So there is some issue here, and it didn't do. Oh, okay. I think my number columns have to be at 38 itself. Anyways, we'll try that again. So as I told you, so you need to have a lot of patience while doing it. Sometimes it might fail, even with you being like pro in it. You will still have some issues later, right? So be careful. Don't lose your patience while doing it. That's the reason. Con, com, next. Okay, let's not touch the number columns at least. Let's do the others. Subproduct.
Sir, can this be recorded?
So it's already recording, pa.
Sorry.
Yeah, it's recording. Yes. 4,000. Allow me 2 seconds, guys. So,
Meanwhile, we hope like others are doing, no? Like people are already from XP. They're doing along with us.
yeah. So how many of you guys are all doing with me? I mean, like if in the same page as what I am doing. Oh, okay.
Sure. The password which I had set yesterday for my XE is not working. I remember the password, but it's not accepting it. So is there anything that I can do to reset this password?
Okay. So go. Okay. I will take up your case in 2 minutes. Wait, let's load this. Let's give everyone something to work upon. Then we'll touch base yours. There's a way to reset it, but that will take up others' time. So just give me 2 minutes.
Sure. Thank you.
So others let us know that you're working along with Kishore. Anyone please say yes. See, it will be good. Like, the Divya is working, okay?
Okay, sure. Sorry, Vinay. Actually, it starts showing as invalid username. I'm giving SYS as a name, but it's showing it as invalid.
No, on the right side, did you select this DBA?
Yes, I have selected.
All right, okay. Let's come to those issues in 2 minutes. Wait.
Okay.
So see, even after doing it, sometimes it gives the invalid number, that, this, all right. So let me select yes to ignore all the errors and load the remaining ones. Okay. It'll give me what are the records which didn't load also. Okay. So the number of records it didn't load is row number 13. It says, what is it? Invalid number. Row number, no, 356, 357, 358. How many records didn't load? It's quite a number of them. Let's see what's the issue there. Row number 356. Six. Number. Okay, so I think one of these columns it has picked up as number. I think one of them I should be response. No, this no, this no. Something has gone. Okay, so these are the ones. So this column is not a number, but did it take it as number? Let's see. Wait. Is zip code? Okay, zip code it has picked up as number. That's okay. So let's drop this. That's okay. Drop table concom. Okay, I dropped it. So for the drop, you have to use this command. I mean, I will come to the commands later, but I'm just doing it quickly. Where is it? Here. Open. Next. So now you guys know how a life of a data scientist will be. Okay, analysis comes much later. Okay, your data messaging is where you'll spend a lot of your time and lots of your time. For this, the same issue, I devised a easier way to do it, but you should learn it all the basics first, and then you have to come to the easy way. Okay. If you don't know these small things, then so this is not a number. You need to make sure that this is a varchar, because you have text characters in that column. Because the first 10-15 columns had numbers in it, it picked up as that as a number. Okay. So rows, not columns. Now that I have ensured that it is alphanumeric, it will pick it up easily. Complaint is a number. I hope it doesn't have any. Oops. Does have a number, I believe. Yeah. I hope this loads. Let's see. Next. Finish. So just see how many rows you have. 65,500 rows. There's something there. Intros character delimited. Yes, ignore errors and continue. Import data task successfully imported, committed. Still it's showing. So what is the error? Non-numeric character found. So non-numeric character found. That means even the last column, I believe, should be. Oh, okay. There is null in this column, I believe. The complaint ID is null, is it? No. Or is there blanks here? No. Some issue here. But anyway, so what is this column here? It says XXXXX 57985. So that's the reason most of the developers just load it all as alphanumeric so that it's easier to play around with the data later without having to mess up with this. Okay, so let's go ahead with this data for some time being. I will ensure that this how to mitigate this. I'll come to that. Okay, so now let's see what is the data. This one we loaded first. Let's refresh this tables. And now if you see, click on C, it will take you to this. What is that? C tables, C listed tables. CON. Okay, this one. So these are the columns that we have here, and these are the data types that it has assigned to them. Okay, based on what we entered. Okay, and if you go to the data, it will show what is the data that we loaded here. Okay. Now, how many rows does it have? We can just query it and get that. Okay, just close all of this, which is not needed. These are just basically the information that it is passing on to you, like, okay, this has happened, and stuff like that. Okay, so okay. Now, the important commands that you need to know. So before even I come to commands, okay. So what are these commands and why we need to use them and what types of them are there? Those are important points. Okay. So there are three types of, or rather there are many other types, but the predominant ones that would like to touch base upon is the groupings of these types of commands. Okay, so there's something called let me type it down somewhere so it's easier. Let's say Excel is better. So we have different types of SQL commands. Okay, first one is, let's say, data definition language, which means when you're setting it up, what are the commands that you use, like create, drop, or alter. So creating a table, dropping a table, altering a table, or truncating a table, right? So these are a few more, like comment. So comment and renaming a table. So these are some of the data definition languages. Okay. So let me write it down here. Data definition. So you're defining the data that you are loading there. Okay. Now, second one is, so these are important because this will be a question in your interview. So you need to know these basics. Second one is DML. DML is data manipulation language. Okay. Data manipulation language in the sense like the ones which you use to make changes to the structure of the table, not change the table altogether. So, okay. So there's a slight difference in the definition and manipulation here. So here you have insert, update the table, delete the table, lock the table, call, and see, these are not widely used anyways. Call and explain, plan. So these are some of others, but we will touch base on the first three of them, right? So this is data manipulation. Oh, sorry, data manipulation language. Okay, wherein you're trying to insert something into the table, insert records into the table, update records into the table, delete records from the table, or lock the table. Okay, you're able to identify the difference, right? Here, this is the whole table is acted upon. Here, partial portion of the table is acted upon. Okay, so that's the difference between manipulation and definition. The third one is data control language. This is more for admins. Okay, how it works is data control language. This contains something like grant and revoke. This means when you're admin of a database system, like how we did the Sexy here, you can grant someone access to a specific table or revoke their access to a specific table. So how it works is you can define what set of people can access which tables so that the security of the database is intact. Okay, so that's the reason these are there, the DCL portion. And then we have, which one is this? 1 second. Then there's a data query language, which I missed, which is important actually. So data query language will contain many stuff, okay, like the select statement. That's important one. Apart from that, you have many others, like select is the, so for querying, the predominant one you start, or main 99% of your queries start with this important word here, okay, which is data query language. So under SQL, these are the types of commands that you have and which can be used to you do stuff on your table which you have loaded. Okay, so that's your this one. Now all your conditions which are supporting the select will come under query language itself, like your where conditions or your syntax is basically like from which table, and then you have all your operators and or between. All of these are operators under your select command, which will more or less align to the data query language itself, right? So this is the types of commands that you have, and these are the types of language grouping that we have. Okay, DDL, DML, DCL, DQL. It's important to know this because this shows your prowess in this field. Okay, so make sure you know about this one at least. It's very important. Having said that, now coming to our table which we loaded. Now, how many rows did we have in Excel? We had like 65,500 rows. I don't know how many rows it loaded or what is the extra rows that it is loading. So when we want to see the total number of records in any table, okay, just say select. Okay, now as in Excel, you can use the count command. Okay, count. To select everything in a table, you use the star operator. Okay, star means I want to know all the rows in this table. Okay, it's I am not limiting my selection to any specific column or row. That's what it says, star. Okay, I'm saying count all the rows in this table, or which table? From consumer com. So this is my table and I want to see all the count of records in my table. If I do this, it will tell me what is the total number of records. It says 64,889 rows. That means I have 65,000 here. So 64,889 I have. Oh, wait. This number. Total number of rows are 65,500 rows, right? 65,500. What is the difference? 611 rows errored out for some reason. Okay. We will come back to this 611 later, but for now we know that there is a small amount of data that didn't get loaded. Okay. So essentially this data is not complete as of now. Okay. So let's just pull this back there only. Message log we don't need. Keep your view clear so that it's easy for you to work on your results. Okay. Now let's pause for a moment here. Okay. And I will do a simple query. Okay. And others who are successful until now can practice for a couple of minutes so that we can go over the issues others are facing and then come back to this. Or rather, we have to do the Apex people also, right? Okay, wait, we'll finish that and come back. So this is one way of finding the total. So practice this one first. See how many records you got. That's fun. And then let's say, let's go back to the Excel. Okay, for this purpose. Now let's say we have these many columns here. Now let's say we want to see all the records only for the state VA. Okay, how do you do that? So I want all the columns from this table. Okay, let's say I'll say all select star from this, where my state underscore name is equal to, in single apostrophes you will give your condition, is equal to VA. Okay, and then what the easy way to run this command is just hold, if there is no other query or select statement in this page here, you can just say control enter. Otherwise you can select this whole statement and do control enter. It will give you the records which have VA as a state in this data. So if you go to column state name, it will say only VA here. So it is giving all the columns which have a state which is VA. Okay. So similarly, try filtering for different columns and see if you are able to get the same data. Okay, what you're filtering for. And also, if you want to do a multiple filter, then what you have to do is, in the where condition, you need to insert an operator called in. Okay, in gives you an option to add multiple filters. Like in this case, VA. I also want to see, let's say, NC. Okay. Again, comma, single apostrophe, and then close single apostrophe. So again, hit enter, control enter, and then you'll see records which are having VA or NC, both of them. Okay. So just keep practicing this. And for the people who are using Apex, okay, let's do until here for you guys also, so that after this it's all common. Okay. Until here it is different. After this it's common. Now I have already logged into my Apex environment here. Okay. Now
So let everyone log in, right? We'll just give them a chance so that they check everyone has logged into Apex.
Yeah.
So please everyone please log into Apex so that you will have hands on together.
Oh, everyone have logged in? Great. So you're on the same screen like me, right? Hopefully.
So everyone please say yes onto the chat box. Okay, Nikit, yes. Rest of you people we want is Shubha, thank you. Okay, Mega, thanks.
Yeah.
Okay, Shikant, thanks. Jeevan, thanks. Okay. Very page, yes. Okay. Purna, you can also take with the same. Okay, as of now, go with Apex. Okay, we resolve the issue. Okay, Purna, Pratibha, Rakesh, we are expecting us from you. Vaishak.
I think he already responded.
Just a minute.
Yeah.
Doing it.
Sir, how to log into Apex?
Oh, you created your workspace yesterday?
Yes, sir.
Okay, then you just need to go to apex.oracle.com and then log in there. You should know your workspace name, by the way. You created your workspace?
Yes, sir. Apex.oracle. Okay.
There you need to key in your workspace name, your username, and the password that you entered. Or if you type in your password, I think it'll give you an option to create your password or something. Or else, yeah, correct. So did you get an email and you went into that and clicked on create workspace? You did all those things, is it, yesterday?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay, then log in and come to this screen. Okay, so well, let's start. Okay, so how do you load data into your Apex environment? Okay, so go to SQL Workshop. Okay, here you have something called, where is it? There is a utilities. Okay, under utilities, under the drop down, or rather you can click utilities here also. You have something called data workshop. Okay, where you can load, unload CSV, XLS, XML, JSON files. Just click on, hopefully you guys are with me, data workshop. Here it's two buttons here. One is you can use your text or XML format, or you can use this. So forget about this unload data. Just use the load data for time being. And then you point to that file which you have got from WhatsApp. Okay. Since we have already made the offline data fixing part, like for the other exercise, hopefully you also have done that and your file is ready. Now just click on open. Obviously we'll face the same issue that we're facing in the other file, in the other environment as such, but still fine. It should load. Majority of your records will get loaded. The second way of loading I will teach you later, not now. Okay, it's now, this is important screen. It says this is create it as a new table. Owner is your workspace. This is your workspace name. I am just giving the name of this table as consumer com. Okay, and importantly, I missed telling you something important. So each of these tables will have something called primary key. Okay, but not necessarily that you have to assign it, but you need to know that it should have a primary key. Like when I say primary key, each record should be differentiated with a unique identifier. In this case, complaint ID is a unique identifier. If your table is in such a way that all of the columns are duplicating, then it's not a good data. Okay, you really can't do anything much with that data. You need to have some column which is unique in it, which has each row different. There, like this 46882 should not be repeated anywhere in this entire column. Okay, so keep in mind that you need to have one primary key for yourself, so that you can use that column later to join with a different table or anything like that, right? So keep that in mind. So I am giving a name on underscore com, and then this, it says pick my first column as my headers, so I've tick marked that. And if there is anything, so these are common things, don't change any of these. Here also they give you an option of encoding. So as I told you, for the foreign characters you can use UTF-8. Okay, and it is only picking up first 200 rows. Okay, based on that, it kind of assigns some type of data type, but Apex is much smarter than XCS, so to say, or SQL developer. So it's loading the data and it's showing the progress of it. How many rows are loaded?
Kishore, it's asking me, please select the columns to load.
It shouldn't ask, no, you have already given it the columns, right? It should pick it up by itself. Let me see.
Should I have to click on configure and do it?
Okay, 1 second, wait, let me come back to the report. Show the first 10 rows. So it gave me error for around 3,000 lines here because of Okay, I think it's drop and reload. Okay, share your screen. Let's see what it's showing. Just give me a second. Share your screen. Yeah, like it. You also raised your hand. Just give me 1 second. How you only raised hand? Okay. Where is it? Please select columns. Okay, click configure on the right side. Okay, there is. Oh, it has got all the things correct. If you see here, it is. It has decided what is the type of the column and everything by itself. Okay. Anyways, oh, it says everything is fine, right? Sample. What you can do is to make sure your data is very accurate. Okay, just save changes. 1 second. Click on first. Sorry. On the top left, you have something called rows to sample. Click all rows there. The last option, yeah. When it says sample, the reason is it will look at the whole data and then give a appropriate column type to your data set. That way, your whole data will be uploaded without any errors. That's one advantage of it, but it will take some time to sample the whole data. That's another disadvantage. Anyway, so it sampled everything. Now, just close this, configure, top right. Here it is. Wait. Notate. Where is it? I don't have a notate, is it? Oh, here it is. Here, close this box, this configure box. Or save changes, sorry. Before that, save changes. On the bottom right. Yeah, this is fine.
Sorry, I was talking in mute. I meant to say that data type is wrong.
I know, but we can fix that. Don't worry. Let it take as varchar for date column also. I am okay with that. I'll tell you what to do later for that. Don't worry. Just save this.
Okay.
So varchar is still a safe zone. Okay, it's like the mother of all the data types. You can do anything if the data is varchar type. Okay, so not to worry with that. Save changes and load. Let's see if yours loads correctly, then everyone else also can follow the same thing. I will teach you guys. I will do it myself again.
Okay.
Did it save the changes? Oh, I think.
Yes, I saved it. Configuration saved it.
Okay, now load data. It's not that it is asking you to select the columns. It's just a message there. If you want to select or unselect any columns, it's not an error. Okay.
Okay.
And these people have not. It's a design problem actually. That's the reason. Did yours? Okay, it takes some time to refresh here, but did yours load everything? 65,500 rows. Yeah, perfect. See, here's loaded with all the data in it. So let me share my screen and let everyone also do the same thing, so that's easier.
Yeah.
So that
I'll
so
stop
that's the advantage sometimes when you have a more advanced or whatever online system, so to say. Okay. So let me share my. Yeah.
Sure. Can you please also help me with this case because
Yeah. Okay. So let's begin from first. Okay. I'm still.
Yeah.
Are you guys at drag drop screen right now? Come to the screen. At least I'll give you like 10 seconds of time.
Okay.
Close everything. Come to drag drop screen.
Sir, how to come, sir?
Okay, just close. click on the SQL workshop, go to utilities, go to data workshop, click on load data. Done. Okay, so let me choose the file again. If you are using Chrome, this will show you the percentage of upload at the bottom left. I'm using Firefox, it's not showing the percentage. Okay, that's an advantage when you're using Chrome. So I'll give the name. Now, where is that? Existing table, okay, preview. So click on preview at the bottom here, okay? Then you will get the configure here. I hope you guys are with me. Click on configure. Now click on rows to sample as all rows. It says it will take time, but it's okay, it'll okay. The Apex version makes users dumb. Okay, that's what why I say that is it does everything automatically. You don't have a learning curve here. Now in this case, since it sampled everything, it took all the data points by itself. And Likit, I know for you, I know I don't know why it took as watcher, but it took as date for me. Okay, so once you do this, save changes. Once you save changes, then you're ready to go. You can just click on load data and it will load it. But allow it a couple of minutes. Okay, configuration is saved. Oh, sorry. Now scroll down, click load data. So this will load the table for you in Apex. Okay. Okay, it loaded. Now there are two options here. Either create an application directly using this or just view the table for now. Okay, since our session is not regarding Apex application creation, let's view the table for now. So you have this table here, these are the data types in it, and by itself, if you see, Apex created an ID for itself. You remember I was talking to you about an primary key column. So regardless of a user, whether he has already got a primary key or not, it will create an ID for itself in Apex by default. Okay, you can choose to not do this, but generally allow it to do it because for you it will be easier for later for some or the other reason. Okay, but in SQL developer, that is not the case. You can create a table without any keys to it, but it will be difficult for you to do later. But you need to remember there should be some unique column which has unique information in that column. Okay, now it's created here. If you click on data, it will show the same set of information here. Okay, and you can edit any of these records manually here, or if it's very tough to search, scroll do, you can query here, saying like the product name is XXX, then query. It will show up that record. Then you can click on that pencil mark on the right side like this, like this. Click on it and make changes to that record and then save, apply changes. Okay, you can delete that record. You can do everything in a GUI format here, but you can't do anything on a mass scale here. This is all a individual record update. You can insert data, you can do everything here using UI. Okay, so that's how simple it is in Apex. But for the purpose of this session is to know how to do it in SQL commands. So go to SQL commands. So what we did in SQL developer, we'll do the same thing. So let's say select count star. Okay. And then we have from which table con com. Okay. Now if you do control enter, it's saying the number of rows that you have in your table. Okay. Now we'll do the same thing what we did on the SQL developer, which is so everyone can follow this from now. Okay. It's common between both of these. Select star from this table where my state name is equal to VA and hit control enter. So just can increase this one and I can see it's all giving VA. Okay. So from now on, it's common for both Apex and non-Apex guys. Okay. Now let's move on to the next level. Okay. So let's look at some of the in my experience, the data, what to say, definition language, okay, which is your creation of table is not used much because many times you load the data and you can't really write saying create all those things, right? But if you remember, um, let's you can actually look at how the database works when you're loading the data. Okay, now if I have to show you that, in SQL developer we have something called SQL history. Okay, I don't know whether it has that history on complete. Here it is. See, so when we loaded the data, it ran the script here. If you look at this, create table with this column as date, with this column as this, with this column as this. So essentially, it writes this whole thing for you when you are doing it in a graphical format here. Okay, so that's this Ddl command. And then it does all the other database operations that are table operations that you just saw in the graphical format. Okay, now let's say let's do some DDL operations before we start querying the data itself, right? So let's close this. Oh, why did I close that window? Okay, now you have a table already with you, right? Which is COM. Okay, now you want to duplicate the same table again. Okay, how do you do that? Now that can be done using create let's give a name to it, saying what shall we'll say duplicate of this table, right? So let's say com dummy. Okay, as so follow the syntax, create this as open bracket, select everything from my current table, just com. So what I'm doing here in this command is I'm creating a new table with the exact same set of data that I have in the other table.
Sure.
Oh, sorry, I think,
Sorry
yeah.
to interrupt. 1 second. Can you show us this code in Apex itself? Why means it's too small. We can't see it also.
Oh, wait, let me increase.
Ah,
That's not an issue. We will do
okay.
that part.
Okay. We're not able to see the code.
View,
Okay.
where is this bar? These people have made it. Just give me 1 second. It's very small, I know. Only I can see it properly. It's a font option to this whole thing, I believe. Yeah.
Sir, I think in the data modeler, it had the zoom in option.
Yeah. No. That zoom in is totally different zoom in. Oh no, this is to do with the font itself, right? While we're on here, just give me 1 second. Preferences, okay, it has to be done here. So basically what you have to do is tools, preferences, and then what is that? Code editor, fonts and set font size. Okay. Code editor, format fonts, and I would say a little bigger. Is that better? Still bigger you want? Hopefully it's, yeah. So create, the syntax is create table and the name, no name for your new table as what's the content of your table. You can still write here each column, like date as date column, so XX as a varchar column, all those things. But what I'm doing is I'm plainly selecting the earlier table itself here. Okay. Now if I do this, it didn't done, is it? Or from my see, SQL it makes you perfectionist. Okay, so if you miss something, it will tell you you have not written from here. That's why it's saying not from. Now, if you see at the bottom here, it's saying it created a table called CON/COM/DUMMY. So I will run the same script. I'll copy the same script and go to my SQL commands here. Okay, and then I'll do this and hit enter. It created. Right, same to same command, it works here also. And for your benefit, in Apex there is something called history, where you can visit your earlier queries if you want to recall again something back. But remember, whatever is there in this window will erase and it will replace with this one. For people who are using SQL developer, you can go to view, go to view, click on SQL history, or you can hit F8. It will give you all the historical queries that you have ran. Okay, so not to worry if you something is missed. Okay, for that matter, for people who are working on Apex, they have to rely on a single query command window. But for people who are working on SQL developer, they can create more query windows here. Okay, individual queries, and they can save this also as separate files so that you can open that file whenever you want to run it again. Okay, so that's about this. So now whatever you do, the output will be thrown at the bottom here. Now if you see earlier, I didn't use the from command, so it's saying from command is not found, but it doesn't say exactly where it is, so it's still giving. But here I think it will give you the exact line where it is missing. If I say like this, it says there is from command missing, but which line? It says 650. Where is 650? But but at the end of the day, error comes up. Okay, so again so when you create in the same table again, it says name is already used by existing object. So that's how it is. How now what if I don't want this table? Now this dummy table is not needed. What you can do is say drop table and the same name. Okay, and then now there are two sets of queries here. Okay, now if you hit control enter, it will error out, because for it will run everything as one. Okay, what you can do is you can select this portion here alone and then control enter. It will work. For Mac users, do command enter. Dropped. Now here also, if I copy the same command here, hit enter, if you do control enter, it will not work because it considers everything as one. But if you select this, it will work separately. For that matter, what you can do is you can put a semicolon at the end of this. That means to say this command is ending here. It need not be used. It's not a continuation. You can hit a semicolon here also. Now, if I run this first command here, it will run only that. And it created a dummy table here, if you see at the bottom. Now, if I run the second command here in this line, it will run only that command and it will drop that table. Same goes here also. If you put a semicolon at the end, it will limit that commands or that query line there. Okay. Now the first one. Oh, here it doesn't work. In SQL commands, it doesn't work. In SQL developer, it will work. Okay. So that's the difference that you see here. Okay. So now, if you now sometimes what you may want to do is like you want to do some naming to this. So you want to do some labeling. Just hit 2 hyphens and type something. Okay. This command is to create a table from existing table. Okay. The good part about this is this will not be treated as a query. It's just a commented text. Okay. Most of you might have used this in your developmental world also, but the same thing applies in SQL world also. Okay. You can structure or keep your queries organized by putting appropriate labeling to each set of queries to it. Okay. So that's about creating and dropping tables. And you can also do something called altering table. Okay. That how it is used, I'll just give. So I'm going one by one. Okay. So first we are looking at the definition languages. Then we will go to some manipulation languages, and then we'll go to the query language. So in an order we are going. That's all. Okay. So alter. Okay, let's give an example for alter. Give me 1 second. I hope all of you are following me and all of you are with me. I haven't got any questions till now. I am assuming it is all fine with what you're doing. Just give me a, yeah.
Can I, Ravi here, can I use instead of select star from con underscore com, I can directly use the table name?
That's the table name, right?
Yeah, instead of select star, I only want to use con underscore com as after as.
No, that doesn't work because so in for SQL it doesn't understand this. So what you're doing here is you're just saying this table. Okay.
Yeah.
It needs
Remove
some.
that. Yeah.
It will not understand the structure of it. So did you try this? It will not work because for SQL this is nothing. Okay. Only when there is a from prefix to this and when a select is there in this command, only then this word makes sense. Otherwise, con underscore com is as simple as this commented text. Okay. So that's why what we are saying is it's like how to give a layman's example, you will first go to school and then get ready there. That's how you're saying. That doesn't work. You will first get ready at home and then go to school, something like that, right? So it should be an order. You should in SQL world everything should be precise and orderly, otherwise it will not work. That's why I'm saying this will change your personality in some ways. If you're addicted to SQL, you will become a perfectionist. That's the reason. So here what we are saying is create a table with this name here, and what is the content of this table I am defining here. Okay. I'm saying you don't need to put bracket also for that matter, but for easier understanding purpose I am saying this select star from this table. If I remove bracket also it will work. So if I do this, wait, it created. I don't need to put bracket, but if you read this directly as a layman, you will not understand anything what's happening here. So just to give a little bit of perspective for myself, I am putting a bracket here. But always remember, whenever you create a bracket, close the bracket. The easier way to do it is write your commands first. Create table xxx as, then open and close a bracket. Like this you do it. Okay, and then put a semicolon. Now it's easier. Inside this bracket, if I write something, I know I have taken care of the opening and closing of my whole command here. Now you can say select. I will only say one column, state underscore name from con underscore com. So what I am doing here is I am creating a new table X using the state name only as the content of that table. Now when I enter this, it created this table here. Now when I query that table, select star from wait, from this, it will give me that table content. That's all. Okay.
Okay.
Clear till now?
Yeah, clear.
Okay.
Thanks, Kishore.
Yeah. Okay.
So in this case, sir, it's taken the state name column from the concom table, right?
Right.
Okay, sir.
Okay. So now let's do a little bit of manipulation in the existing table itself. Okay. Now, first let's query our table in first place. COM. Now our table has wrong. Has these many columns here. Okay. So all of these columns are there. Now I want to create a duplicated column which is same as this whatever submitted via. Okay. Now there is this submitted via which I want to create a duplicated column. How do I do that? Now wait a minute, 1 second, wait, just be there with me. Just give me 1 second, please. Okay, so altering a table is nothing but we have to just adding another column which is not part of the original load that we did. Okay, now in this case, let's say alter what is that? What's our table name? Concom, right? Table con com, and let's say I say add a column which is column name you need to specify. Let's say dummy. Okay, and then we have to specify what is the character data type in it. So I'll just say something like this, then close this. So if I do this, I think here. If I do this, so now it has altered my table here. Now if I run my command, where is it? 1 second. Okay, so now if we do a select our table, okay, now you have that extra column that might have come at the end. It says dummy. There's nothing in this. Okay, now what you can also do is you can fill that table column with some data in it. Okay, how do you do that? Just 1 second. One moment, guys. My battery is kind of low. Okay, so when we want to make some update to this new column that we have added to this table, what you do is you use the update command, which is actually data. What is that? Where is it? It's a data manipulation language. Okay, so once you add anything, you need to, if you want to make changes to that column or even for an existing column, you can use the update command here. Okay, so in this case, let's say we update table. What is that table? Concom set dummy. Let's say equals to or submitted via. Okay, we'll just take that column is equal to that column, that kind of a thing. Okay. And then that's it. Now ideally this both should be same. Now it changed 65,000 rows approximately. When I run my select command, if I go to the right side, I'll see the same data here and here, right? So that's your update command. Okay, now another one which I was wanted to show you guys was,
Sir, can you repeat that? From which column did it take for dummy?
so did you create the dummy column and till there you're clear?
Yes, sir. Till there, yes.
So after that, use the update command and put your table name first, and then say set your new column with what data. At this point, I'm just saying equal to that data, whichever column you want to, not necessarily the same which I'm using here. You can use timely response or consumer disputed, whatever you want, you can use. And we are just equating this column to that column. So all that information in this column will be same as that column.
Sir, I'm getting error in Apex.
Okay, so let's go to Apex and do the same thing. So let's say we do the same thing. So let's first create alter table con add a dummy column which is of this nature. Okay, now this should add a column to it. It added the column. Now what I am doing is I will update the table com set dummy is equal to submitted via. That's the column I'm trying to equate it to. When you do this, it will equate. It's done. Did you do the same thing?
Yes, sir. Now I got it.
Okay. Okay. So great. Okay. Until now, if you guys are clear, now let's say we'll just go through the other commands that we have with us. So, like, where is it? So, create, drop table, alter table, truncate table. What it does is currently you have some information. Let's say we created a, did we drop this table? Let's see, wait. Select, star this. It's not there. So let's create this table first.
I think the from is missing there, Kishore. Let's start from.
No, it's there. No, actually, this table is dropped. Actually, that's why.
Okay.
So now, if I select, oh, so here from is missing. Yeah. Okay, so we have some data in this, right? Now, if you want to keep the table, okay, but you don't want the data in it, then you can use truncate command. How do you use truncate command? Same as your drop, create, all those same methodology you will use. But what you will do is you'll just say truncate at the beginning. Now, for a moment, truncate. This applies to both the environments, okay guys, not that I'm showing here because you don't need to practice, nothing like that. It's the same thing, both sides. Truncate table, this one. So what this does is it will remove the information from the table. Okay, now if I have to take this and query again, there's no data found in it. Okay, because we have removed all the information from it. That's your truncate commands function. Okay, so that's about truncate. Then
I
what
think it's very
else?
important question, which would be like, what's the difference between drop and truncate, if I'm not wrong. I mean, the part of interview question where you can take it. No, like
Yeah.
correct. So the truncate and the drop. Kishore, what is the difference? Like the
So drop will eliminate the whole table altogether, so it will not be there in your database at all. But truncate will preserve the structure of the table, but only the information in the table will be deleted.
Okay.
Yeah. So that's the difference between drop and truncate. Another one. What else you have? So create, drop, alter, truncate, comment and rename. You will not have much of a usage as such, but they are just trying to rename your table or something like that. Most of the time that's done on
Hi
a
Kishore, sorry to interrupt.
Yeah.
Can I truncate a specific column?
Truncating is specific. No, that you can use it. Do using what to say?
Delete.
No. Wait. You can delete the column as such. Yeah. You can
Yeah,
drop.
but with command after truncate, I am asking.
Okay, so you want to just remove the content of the column and not not the whole column itself, right?
Yeah.
I think it should be done. Wait 1 second. Okay. Truncate column can be done. Just give me 1 second. It's possible. So, but I think it's not a straightforward thing because wait a minute, wait. I think I know.
Can I add a select star inside the table name?
Oh, you're saying in the truncate itself? No, you can't do that. That doesn't work actually. Okay, wait. What you can do for that is there's an alternate. You can't do it like truncate. Like if you remember this update column that we were doing here.
Yes.
So let's say if you want to remove a data from specific column, use this update command and set your column and then say null here.
Okay.
So that will remove all the information from that column.
Okay. Thanks.
Okay. So truncate column per se is not there, but this is a workaround that you can use to remove information from a specific column. But that kind of requirement is wouldn't come to you more or less in most of the cases. Okay. Okay, so let's go back to this list. Insert command. Insert is inserting rows. Okay, so it's like you insert a row in your table. In this case, let's say this is your whole table. You have like how many rows? Approximately some 15-20 columns are there. You need to enter value for each of these columns and then insert a row there. You have to define the data in the column and then use that insert column. But based on the usage of it, this is not used much. Okay, but just to give an example of that, if we go back to our history and just show you that. What is that here?
Kishore, can we create a simple table with 2 columns and we'll insert a value, no, so that they will be understanding better? Would that be okay?
Yeah, that can be done.
Correct, right?
Yeah.
Correct.
So let's say, okay, let's do it this way. Okay, first let's say, let's create a small table. Create table. Test 1 as select Two columns we'll select. Let's go to our data first. We'll take state and submitted. Okay, state and let's say you are saying create the table itself. Okay, fine, we can
Yeah, so that we'll create
yeah.
a new data type, right? Create
Yeah.
table test1 as the new like varchar and one is integer. Something like
yeah. That's fine. That's fine. So create table. One second. So okay.
Test1
table, and then you'll say some name to this table. And then you'll put some column to it. Let's say I want to do name. Okay, my column name is name, and the data type to this is varchar, and that's around, let's say 4,000. Then I'll have age or something as my second column. I'll put this as number column. Okay, so that would be what int. We can use int to it for now. But for each of them, just put a comma, otherwise it will not work. Then close this bracket, close this. So this will create a simple table for you. Now select test1 once. Select star from test1 rather. Someone joined. So you have name and age column. There's no data in this table right now. Okay. Now let's insert some data into this. So when we say insert, it's like you need to define each and every part of it. Insert into wait 1 second.
Into test1, right?
Yeah, insert into this one. Just give me 1 second. I'm just putting into this. Insert into test1. Firstly, you need to say what is the column name, and then each column. Then for each of these, what's the content? Like in the name column, let's say Kishore, and age column something like this. 30. Or let's say I think it should be fine. Let's try this. Yeah.
Into table values, right?
Wait, 1 second. So basically,
remove for age.
The apostrophes need to be removed because it's a integer column. Yeah.
Yes.
No, it still doesn't work because test1. Wait a minute. So what it says?
Insert into test1. I mean the Oracle syntax is something like insert into test1 values or something like that.
Like name Kishore, age 30.
Wait a minute.
Okay.
No,
Sir, one
okay.
thing. Sir, first I think we want to create database. After that, we should want to insert table now, sir.
Correct. You're right.
But
yeah, values. Correct.
Created.
Yeah, it has to be a value in between. That's what I was missing there. Values are this. Okay, first you need to have this, and then you have to put values there. Yeah, I got it. Okay. Then you say values. Values. Oh wait, sorry. I think there should be a bracket here. Yeah, we never use insert much in our day-to-day life.
But when I get confused a lot.
Yeah. This is fine. So we are saying insert into this, and then we are having all of this. Then we'll say values and close this.
Before values we need to close, and after values we need to open bracket.
No, I think it's not that way. So wait. Yeah, so there should be this opening and closing thing. Okay, so that's your this one. So if you select this, yeah, it is inserted. Okay.
So someone asked that first we need to create a database, then a table. We are already in a database called XC, right? So no need to create a data. I mean, like telling us create database and once again. So someone, I don't know, it was Teja.
Yes, sir, it is me only.
Teja, no, we are already in a database called as XC, right? So no need to create database once again.
Okay. Okay, sir.
So the whole process of setting up your XC is your database setup. Now you have created a table. now we have inserted the data in it. Okay, so now let's say we add another one. Okay, test 50. Now it added another one. Okay, so now now what we can do is let's go to our list of commands. It says delete. So we have insert, we did update, we have to do delete. Okay, so when it comes to delete, you have to specify what is the condition that you have to delete. So delete, wait a second, delete from the table name where a condition like age equals 50. So one row deleted. So if you check your table again, you'll have that row deleted. Okay. Now if I add this, it will insert that. Okay. Nice. Yeah.
Everyone, please mute your audios. Okay, sure. I think you can mute.
Okay. So data manipulation language. I hope you guys are clear with this. Lock, call, and explain are more related to your. This is more of a table management one, which I don't think so is appropriate at this point of time to confuse you with a lot of things. Call and explain plan are procedural things. So to give a little bit of overview of that. So every time, like how you have, if you have worked on Excel, okay, you have simple formulas like sum, average, all those things, right? But if you don't know, you can create your own functions in Excel using VBA. You can define your own functions using VBA, right? So similarly, procedures are something standard set of queries. Okay, you will have pages together queries sometimes. What you can do is you can define a query and keep it ready and call that query whenever you want it to. So this is like advanced data querying techniques. Like for me, the select star is like, let's say, I'm just making it up. This is like a complex query for me for now. Okay, I'll just store this as a procedure, and whenever I want, I can bring that into my query as and when needed. So that's your procedures. Okay, and it will not be so simple as such. You have to write it very thoroughly. So for in the that's where you call your procedure or do whatever you want to, right? So that's these functions. So we have covered pretty much of these. Grant revoke, I would not go much into it, because granting access to a table and revoking access to a table, most of the time you will not be a database admin as such to use this. But for information purposes, if they ask, you can say grant. How do you set up security for a table or a databases using grant and revoke data control languages? That's all you say. But you can be honest and tell them that I never have been a data admin. I've been more of a data scientist. So I haven't been at the back end of a database setup infrastructure, but support team, but I am just a scientist here. So that's how you can project yourself. Okay. Why I went through all of this is because these are all point in time usages. Not every time you'll do create, drop, alter, all of these things. This is all whenever you need some changes you do to a table. But what you do most of the time is to use the select statement or the query language to get the information what you want from the tables, right? So that's your query language, data query language. In the query language, it's an ocean to say, like there are so many branches to it to learn. But let's start with simple things which we have already been doing, like select star, from test, and all those stuff, right? If we go back to our earlier table, which is in this. Okay, let's create a new one. Okay, so let's say first, let's see what is the data looking like. And to give a perspective, this front-end tool, what you're seeing right now, SQL developer, there are many other front-end systems which can be used. Okay, like MySQL also has a front-end system which can be used to connect to our XE database also. Okay, only with those connection preferences what I showed you here, you can use the same thing and connect there, but the way you do it is slightly different and not much. Okay, so that's your front-end part of it. Now in this table what we just uploaded, we have these many columns here. Okay, so now you can get requests on many fronts, like you let's say in the Excel right now you have the data set as like 65,000 rows. You don't want such a huge data set to be put at a back end of a dashboard or something. You just want to know some small information like okay, I want to know by state how many records are there or how many complaints are there. Okay, so to do that, what you can do is, like in this case you need two things. One is you have a dimension. I would call it dimensions and measures, because dimensions are the ones which are if you have attended the tableau, you will know that those are columns which will split a measure based on, right? So your state, city, or most of the times it's an alphanumeric content in a dimension. I'm saying, like, let's say state name, and then you have you need to know the count of complaints for the by state. Okay, so you use this function here, count of you can use any column here for that matter, because each complaint is a unique one here. Each row is unique here, so you can actually use any column, but for understanding purpose, let's say complaint ID. Okay, now if you run this, it will give an error, because in SQL you need to group it. So in this case, my measure is this and my dimension is this. I have to group by all the dimensions that I use here. Now I'm just saying group by. Okay, group by state name. If I hit this, it's giving me the number of complaints I have by each of these states. Okay, so but it's all jumbled up and I'm not able to make sense of this, right? Like there's so many of them. Which is the highest here? I don't know. I have to manually do that. So what you can do is you can also do an order by. You can say order by your count of complaints. Okay, and you can say descending or ascending, but by default it will take ascending, I believe. Let's see. Say ascending, you can say DESC, it will make it descending. So CA, California, has the highest number of complaints here, followed by Florida, Texas, New York, New Jersey, Georgia, and everything. So this is how you do it. But if you want to do it order by like, let's say state name, you can do that as well. Order by state names. Now another thing is now if you see the column name, it looks very odd, and the state underscore name doesn't look good, right? You can also give your own names, constant names, right? So what's happening? Wait. Names to the column. So in SQL, you can say as, okay, and then say in single quotes state, okay, and say as number, or let's say count, and then run this. No, wait. Oh, as or double quotes, yeah, sorry. Okay, so it makes the name simple. Or else an easier way is you just don't need to do anything. You can just say count. Okay, this also works. Or sad state. This also works. Okay, but where as works is if you want to do a space in your column name, like state name, This will not work because there's a space here. So what you do is you can either do as and then do a double quote here, okay, or you can also do without this. The reason why I'm saying using as is also important is sometimes when you are using a nested select statement, like if you remember in Excel, you have something called nested ifs, right? If you have worked with the formulas, something like that. If you say, if you use nested selecting from this in other selection, then the as becomes an important one. So that's where you use the as one. So when I say nested ones, so let's say I am selecting star from con com. This is my first table. Okay. Now, if I have to do a nested select statement, this is how it looks. Select state name from, this is my table. No, sorry. See, this is a selected name. Now I can do another one. Okay. Now let's say state name and another one I'll stick submitted via. Now I've selected 2 columns from this main table. Now from this sub table, I can also select only one column. Select state name from this whole thing. So this will result in state name only. So you guys are with me till now? Any confusion or anything? I'm going fast, slow? You have any doubts or you want some time to practice? If anyone wants to share the screen, any problems, let me know.
So repeat only the nested one, sir.
Okay, so let's start from first. So I mean, not necessarily this is used like this only, but what I'm saying is when you have an environment where let me put it in a graphical representation. Let's say you have 2 tables. Okay, these are the 2 tables that you have. Now from these 2 tables you would have 1 2 3 columns here, or rather, right, 1 2 3, these are 3 columns here, and you have 3 4 5. These are the 3 columns in this table. Now when you join these 2 tables, or let's say another one, 4. When you join these 2 tables, you will get here a new table which has only 2 columns 3 and 4, which are common between these 2, right? Now from this table you will select something else here, a smaller table. So nested selects comes into picture only when there is a join. But why I am saying showing this is to show you how it looks like nested. Okay, so let's say select star from con. So this is my total table. This is my full table. Now from this table I want to select only a small subset of columns. I can do directly here itself. Okay, I don't need to do this nested, but I'm for an example purpose I'm showing. I can just select only whatever columns I need here and then do it. Okay, but to give an example of how nested select looks like, I'm doing this. Okay, and this is not a perfect example, so to say. Select state name and something like zip code from this table. I got 2 things here, right? Now from this whole thing, so this is, if you virtually you're imagining this is a table right now with 2 columns in it. Okay, now what you do is just put them under bracket. So this is in bracket now. Now this will become my from. Select zip code from this. So mentally you need to be updating your mind every time you write something here. Okay, so you can't go immediately or debug very easily. So you need to be knowing, okay, when you start a query, it's like a you should not stop until you finish it. Otherwise you'll break the chain, or you break the chain of your thought. That's important. Okay, so you start with something, you start another select in between, and then you're selecting anything. So this is the typical way you write your queries as such. Okay, wherein this will have some join here, then you from that you will join something here, and from that you will join something here. So So these are some of the select statements and some of the measures. So instead of count, I can say, I mean, let's imagine this zip code is some value. Okay, if I do sum of zip code, or let's say sum of complaint ID only, let's say, let's say count there, let's say sum. So just look at this. So the best part is you can do a sum of complaint and sort it by count of complaints. It doesn't make any sense, but the flexibility of SQL language is if that much. Okay. Now if you look at it, I have summed up. If I can do an average also. Okay. AVG. Average. This is an average of it. Okay. Now this looks like too huge, right? There are decimal points like endless. What you can do is like your Excel itself. On top of average, you can do a round, like how you do in Excel. Round this to 0. Now it will become 0. Okay. So pretty much some of your Excel functions are still applicable here, and you can use them. For you guys, if you guys have SQL developer in your machine, without even having any connection also, there's a place where you can actually go through some of these functions. Just give me 1 second. I think it's there here. Data modeler. No. Snippets. Mission. Cards. Debugger, etc. Files. But I'll ping you guys on this one, WhatsApp templates, because this has extensive list of commands that you can use and what is the definition and all those stuff. So it will be useful for people who have just started using this, what to say, SQL, right? So okay. Show reports, snippets, tasks. That's what I've seen it long time back, but I'm not able to find it here. Components. Anyways,
Kishore, like randomly, can we just ask the people to write from where clause so that they have a revision, so that because we are also planning to give some assignment this week, right?
Yeah. So before we go with that, one last thing which I want to check is in the where condition. Okay, now let's go to our original command. Okay, so this is the select statement. So we have something called we saw equal to and in right now, right, in the where condition. So let's say I'll do select star from concom where I did state or state name equals VA. This was the first command which I used, wherein we got all the records which are pertaining to VA. We did also in I showed you, which says we can put multiple things like this, and then we can run this command. It will show for 2 states, right? And the third one is like, let's say, just give me 1 second. So if we go to, let's say, issue, okay, let's say I'll say where issue. When we take issue as a column, it has multiple things. Like the text is too huge, you can't really type it. In those cases, you can say issue. Let's say I want issues which are starting with the loan modification, or which are having an incorrect word in it. Okay, so what I do is I say incorrect. This is what to say, case. The case should be very important, uppercase or lowercase. Okay, incorrect. Then I say percentage. What does this percentage mean is the starting should be incorrect and anything can be later. So if I say this kind of thing, it will give me all the records which has incorrect at the beginning. If I say incorrect in between, I have to put percentages at the beginning. It will still give you the ones which are at the beginning, but it also gives you records which will have incorrect in the between if it already exists. Okay, so that's about that. And yeah, so having said till now, there are still things which we have to cover, but for today's assignment, before I let you guys go, what you can do is, let me go back to the first table. Okay, try and give me a summary of, I'll type it somewhere, summary of total complaints, complaints by state. Okay, if you remember, this is the total number of complaints, how we did that, right? I hope you guys know that. Okay, total number of complaints by state, and I'll give you individually, that's okay. So total number of complaints by issue. You can give these two both together also, like state name, you can select issue also here and then go with this, but you have to write the issue also in the group by statement, remember that. Okay, so it's complaints by state, issue, and then I want complaints by state, issue, and product name in the same table. This is, each of them are separate tables. Okay, you can actually create these tables. Then I want a table which contains, create a table for let's say complaints by subproduct. You know how to create a table, you know how to create the get the count of complaints. Yeah, just use it. Okay, so you remember create table as function where you can use select statement in that. Use that feature to do this last assignment. So let's try this. Okay, so why I'm giving it like this is, this you have to use all the all the things that we taught today to achieve arrive at these, some of these. Okay, so this last assignment is that you have to create a table which is in a summary format where I will have only my subproduct column and then I'll have my the total complaints column. And just so that you guys know, so let's just give me 1 second, one last bit. I'm really sorry, I'm taking some time. Count, I'll just say count here. Okay, group by state, I'll not order by anything, this much. So I have this, right? So if you look at it, at this point, this looks clean, but sometimes the state name may repeat. So if you face any issue anywhere where it's repeating for you, just say distinct here. Okay, that will limit the state name once, not multiple times. So this will make sure your state is unique and your complaints are summing up to that particular state. So let's say complaints by a unique subproduct. So these are the 4 things. So let me put this summary for assignments, let's say. So you have time, some time to do this, but apart from these, what I've given here, if you're able to pull out some more good amount of summary views, please do so, because I don't want to limit your minds to what I say here. Okay, I just want to make sure that you guys explore it and then come back to me with more summaries which make sense, basically. Okay, so look at the data, see what makes sense, what kind of information will make sense, and all those stuff. For better results, what you can do is create tables for each of these, so that when you want to show it to me, you can just select assignment 1 as a table name, and then it will show up this total complaints by state, something like that, right? So try out this, try out some where conditions, you practice yourself some select statements, some insert statements, some create statements, some importing of not only this data, some other data, and practice all of this stuff, and then we'll move into a little bit of advanced stuff next in the upcoming session. Okay, hopefully today's session was helpful for you guys, and you can practice through the week and come back to me. Okay.
Thank you.
Once again.
Yeah. Yeah.
Kisha, once again.
Yeah, sure.
Hello. Can I go ahead? Can I tell you what is it? The thing is, you were saying this thing can be used for state. It can be used for any other
Yeah,
subcategory.
you
Yes,
can
right?
use for any column. You can use distinct.
Okay.
Okay.
Thank you, Kisha.
Okay.
Yeah, Kishore, the videos will be uploaded soon, right?
Yeah. Sure, we'll do that.
Yeah, I've missed in between, but I'll try to copy with the video. That's why.
That's okay. That's okay. We will upload it. Okay.
Thank you.
Okay, fine. So there are still things which we will cover in the next class, but for now, practice the basic ones and then few of the query language stuffs. If you are able to do much more than what we have done today, that would be great, because that will help answer some questions that you have in next class. Okay, so come with questions. Okay, don't limit your assignments to what I've told here. Explore yourself and come up with questions. That's how you will improve your knowledge base. Okay. Anyways, happy weekend. I mean, happy Sunday, guys. So we will meet in the next class.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir. Bye, sir.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you, sir.
Yep.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye. Bye.
Bye-bye. You too, have a good day.
Kishore,
Yes, Purna.
yeah, like how about that error where I'm unable to access it?
Okay, just share your screen. Let's see.
Okay, thank you.
Oh, let me stop recording.